Britt, thank you. Happening today, one Indianapolis family is starting a book drive to give back.
Every year we look back at the year prior and say that we are absolutely blessed to be where we are because we know that there are families that don't necessarily get the chance.
Their son spent months in the NICU after he was born at just 26 weeks. This morning in today's Pay It Forward, they are sharing their story and their efforts. Eric Pointer joins us this morning. And Eric, why was this important for them to share?
They wanted families who find themselves in similar situations to know that they're not alone. They hope that this representation gives them comfort in what can be a difficult time.
This one's our first. It was challenging.
When Shakira and Thomas Reeves had their twins, Carmine and Rook, 14 weeks early, they were both rushed to the NICU.
It was a very challenging and different time, not necessarily anything like we had thought our parenting experience would go when we first announced that we were pregnant with identical twin boys.
Rook passed away after 9 days, and Carmine had to have a tracheotomy and spent 165 days in 4 different NICUs before coming home.
It's crazy for me to see him here because after all the medical jargon they throw at you and the statistics, you just hope and pray that they are wrong.
While they were in the NICU, and even when he went home, Carmine's parents read to him every day.
His airway.
Shakira says she even tried to find books involving his condition, but there weren't any out there, so she wrote one herself.
I made it to the NICU in a tiny plastic box. I needed a lot of help from the nurses and the docs.
They created Rook's books named after his twin brother, and just this past summer published I Made It, a Trach baby story.
I really wanted him and other kids like him to be able to see themselves in the stories, like as a successful character.
She then wrote another kid's book, I Made It, Welcome to the NICU. She wants this one to explain to families what they can expect.
You're not really a parent in the NICU, you're more of like a bystander. While everyone else tells you what to do and when to hold him.
Now, the family is holding a book drive to get copies of their books and others to families in central Indiana NICUs.
We wanted to just try to bring awareness and also bring joy to people at that time.
I'm hopeful that even though it's just a children's book and it's meant to be playful, that parents can just understand that they're not alone in the situation.
The books ordered will ship to their house, and then they will collect them, count them, and then deliver them to local area NICUs. Here in the newsroom, Eric Pointer, Fox 59 News.
All right, Eric, thank you. Love that. Giving back to an organization that helps people at their lowest. A group of women in Howard County are working to raise money for much-needed improvements to a domestic violence shelter there. In today's Pay It Forward, our Eric Pointer spoke to some of those who have benefited from this shelter. He explains why they say the renovations are needed and how you can help.
I have been a domestic violence survivor since I was a child.
For Amber Kinsey, the abuse started when she was a child with her father and continued with her first husband.
I wanted to utilize my experiences and my background to help other people's lives and help change other people's lives.
She didn't stay at the shelter, but she did use their resources, and now she wants to pay it forward by raising money for improvements.
People deserve that. People deserve to have that sense of home and feeling and knowing that people care.
They want to do things like fix up the kitchen, redo the floors, and update the plumbing.
Most of the people that get brought here, they don't really want to be here, but this is the only place that they can go. So we want to make sure that it has a home feeling.
I think it would be really beneficial. I think there's a lot of things that they could stand to upgrade.
Jennifer Road-Ruck stayed at the shelter off and on from 2014 to 2019.
They cared about me when I couldn't care about myself. They helped me to get up and do things that I didn't believe or think that I could ever do.
Both women agree the renovations are needed to make people more comfortable at the house.
Because I've always been taught home is a feeling, not really a place. That means more to me than anything else, to save a child from domestic violence, to save another woman from going through that, even a man. That means more to me than anything.
To help their efforts, visit our website to learn how you can donate. In Howard County, Eric Pointer, Fox 59 News.
All right, thanks so much, Eric.
The socks are one of the most requested items in homeless shelters. So Anderson Elementary set out to collect 2,000 pairs for its Socktober drive. They fell a little bit short of that goal, so one business stepped up to help them get across that finish line. Our Eric Pointer is joining us now live from the newsroom for today's Pay It Forward. Eric, why is it so important for them to get that magic number of 2,000?
So on top of getting the socks for those who need them, the school also set fun incentives for some of the checkpoints along the way, like they would get to pie a teacher in the face if they got a certain amount, or silly string the principal. But the big one was to dye the coordinator's hair, and thanks to that last donation, they reached that goal.
Anderson Elementary students hit a lot of their milestones, like a pie in the face.
Let's celebrate what we did, because what we did was really fun and what we did was really good, and we needed to reward ourselves.
Susan Sawyer with the school says she wanted to do the sock drive to show students they could help out.
Every once in a while I have a child who will come to me and say, Mrs. Sawyer, I saw this homeless man, or I saw this woman sitting on the curb, and I wanted to do something, but I didn't know how to help.
They asked each student to bring at least one pair of socks and set a goal of 2,000.
And I told the kids, if you reach 2,000, I would dye my hair blue. And we got pretty close, and so I was thrilled with that, and I got to save my hair.
They almost made it with 1,706 socks. Until 765 Clothes stepped in.
At first I was like, why? What does he have against my hair?
Because when it comes for kids and seeing their teacher's hair painted purple, that I wanted to see.
Owner Brad Mullins donated the remaining socks and then some.
Just for safety, we brought you 303.
Sawyer came around and had her hair ready for his arrival.
Right here. See my blue hair?
All right.
You don't see this. That should have been the first thing you saw.
As the students loaded up the last of the new donations,
This is a lot of time.
they reminded what they did it for.
Just knowing they know they're helping homeless people, because a kid made a comment, that's a lot of socks to help the people out there.
The socks went to the Christian Center in Anderson, and if you want to make a donation, we've got information for you posted on our website. Here in the newsroom, Eric Pointer, Fox 59 News.
And if we're saving lives, that's more important than anything. That's more important than any amount of money if a life is saved.
An Indy man uses his barber academy to offer free haircuts for people who get COVID-19 vaccines. They will also be doing COVID testing and give people in the community access to some other resources. As Eric Pointer explains in today's Pay It Forward, it's his way of making a difference after losing loved ones to the virus.
This is very important.
Gregory Kinney wants to make sure everyone has access to the COVID vaccine and testing, especially barbers and cosmetologists.
Because they touch and service literally millions of clients on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
So he's hosting healthy haircuts for Hoosiers. He did one in mid-September and is planning another one for next Monday.
That's our duty as citizens, as a professional, is to help our citizens and to protect our citizens, our patrons, our staff, our students, and so forth.
This is important to him because he's seen the impacts of the virus firsthand. He lost 2 brothers to COVID-19.
I feel like if I can raise the awareness, help others get vaccinated, kind of combat the misinformation that this is not a hoax, it's not fake, it's not a fraud, this is real.
He's not alone in his efforts. He has support from people like Martell, who is a student at the Barber Academy.
I think it's the right thing to do so we can nip it in the bud, try to make the numbers go back down so we can go back to being normal.
I feel like I'm fighting back, and I'm not just sitting here and allowing my brother's death to be in vain.
If you want to get a vaccine or test, you can find info about the event on our website, fox59.com. In Indianapolis, Eric Pointer, Fox 59 News.
Chances are many of us have fallen victim to costly and unexpected car repairs. For those who cannot afford it, this can be a major problem. Meadows, our Eric Pointer explains in today's Pay It Forward, a Johnson County nonprofit garage connected to Stones Crossing Church works to help one group keep the wheels turning at a reduced cost.
And ultimately our goal is to help people stay safe on the roads.
At Stone's Auto Service in Greenwood, Volunteer mechanics do minor vehicle repairs and maintenance.
Pretty much anything that you can get done at a shop that doesn't require any major specialty tools or extensive labor hours.
For single mothers, widows, and the elderly on a fixed income.
I have this single mom who's trying to get to work every day, and if her car's starting to make a noise, she's going to keep driving it that way because she needs to get to work or needs to get her kids to school.
They operate Tuesdays by appointment and only charge the cost of parts.
The average repair order on a vehicle throughout the United States is over $600, and not everybody just has an extra $600 laying around.
It helps me save money.
Erin Jackson is a single mom of 2 kids and says she's gone there for about 2 years after a friend recommended her.
I had a check engine light on and I needed brakes. And she was like, oh, I know this really cool place. Like, they're a nonprofit, they can do X, Y, and Z.
It's been a blessing because, you know, just the finances.
Terry Thorpe says she's been going since her husband passed away.
When my husband passed away, I wasn't working, and I took care of him, so it helped a lot.
And she brought her friend Marie, who says the shop keeps her 21-year-old van running.
Every time the brakes or the oil or things like that go wrong, I'm in here.
It's a faith-based organization, and this is all work that founder Charlie Polcher says they've been called to do.
This is a way that I felt I could use some of the skills that God's blessed me with to serve our neighbors, to love our neighbors, and to fit a very tangible need in our community.
To make an appointment, you can find a link on our website, fox59.com. In Greenwood, Eric Pointer, Fox 59 News.